Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more If My Heart Had Wings. So, last time we left off, really not too much happened, but we are kind of starting to really get the club going. We're finding a goal, which we've kind of established now to be that we want to reach, or that we want to fly above the clouds. So there's this wall of clouds that we want to try and, like, fly over, essentially. And it's been decided that we are going to be the pilot and that Kotori is going to fly with us because this is a two-seater plane. We're also just kind of trying to designate tasks here, figure out who's doing what. And we've realized that, you know, the club president is pretty well off on her own. So we're trying to make ourselves useful. But before we jump into this video, that'd be awesome if you guys could hit the like button on it and subscribe and turn on post notifications. That'd be fucking awesome. Even though you haven't watched the video yet, you know it's gonna be good. But what do I know? I'm just a fucking dude on the internet who does funny anime girl voices. But without further ado, let's jump right on back into it. Alright, so this is Kotori's sister, by the way. Even though it's summer, don't sleep with your stomach exposed, okay? Make sure you brush your teeth and text me once, no, 3 times a day. I got it. I've got it already. Minase-san. Yes? Please take good care of Kotori-chan. Sure, leave it to me. I thought I sounded a little arrogant, but I answered as a dorm mother and as Kotori's friend. See you, Kotori-chan. If anything happens, call me right away. Worried about her sister until the end, Hibari-san got in the car and left. Today was Monday, the start of a new week. It looked like she was going straight to work. She came here in her own car, and apparently her workplace and her house were about an hour away. Hibari-san, Ne-san stayed for 2 nights, so I'm worn out. Isn't she a kind sister? Yeah, I'll give her that. I just wish she kept it in moderation and knew when to leave me alone. It seems like she would like to be more independent from her older sister. Okay then, shall we go to school now? And that's how it is. To sum it up in this case, I was restless throughout the whole 6th class of the day. When this finishes, school will end for the day. In other words, it'll be time for club activities. Yesterday was Sunday, so we had a break from the club. I was told that my piloting training would start today, so I couldn't help but anxiously look forward to it. This will be covered by the end of the term test, so make sure to note it down. The teacher's leisurely way of speaking made me feel even more impatient. While I was staring at the clock hung on the classroom wall, I was waiting for this very moment. It rang. The bell rang! Okay, that's all for today. The things we studied today will be on the end of term test, so make sure to review them later. The teacher repeated the last bit of information, then the class president finally told us to stand and bow. Goodbye, Sensei. Yeah, don't run in the hallway. When I went out to the hallway, Kotori was already standing by outside since her seat is near the door. Slow! What could I do? My seat's right next to the window. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Ageha's not here yet. We peeked into the classroom. Ageha was surrounded by several girls, talking with them about something. That's what this is! Apparently they didn't understand something from the last lesson, and they asked her about it. They make a big deal about grades at this school. If you fail any subjects, it's possible that you'd have to repeat the year. It's not like Ageha's grades or anything special, but in certain specialized subjects, she was usually near the top of the rankings. That's why her friends were going to her for help just before the end of the term exams. Hey, Ageha! Oi! Hang on, I'll be finished soon. Ageha waved through a gap in the wall of girls surrounding her. Hey, Aoi-kun. She said it'll just take a while longer. I see. Well then let's go on ahead. But she asked for us to wait for her. We'll see her there anyways, so it's fine, isn't it? Oh, a choice. That's rare. Okay, so we can wait for Ageha, or we can go ahead with Kotori. I want to say this is like one of the first options we've had in this game. Or at the very least, we've not had a lot, so this is kind of big. Wait for a Geha or go ahead with Kotori? I mean, like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Because, I mean, I imagine if we wait for a Geha, then it feels like that would be a thing of like, oh, well, you're favoring a Geha over Kotori, but if you go ahead with Kotori, you're favoring Kotori over a Geha. So, I don't know. Let's go ahead and just wait, right? That makes sense to me. She says she'd be finished soon, so I'll wait here. I see. Well, then I'm going on ahead. Kotori said that while pouting for some reason and went off without me. Oh, fuck, we fucked up. Oh, it makes me want to go back and choose a different option. Fuck. Let's go back. I'm going back. Listen, man, I'm not here to play games. I'm here to get shit right. Okay, here we go. Yes, Kotori, let's go. Wow, that was such an easy decision, right, guys? Let's wait a little longer. I'll just hang out for now. Wait, no, did I choose the same option? Am I fucking stupid? Wait, no, it says go ahead with Kotori. Okay, no, I'm doing this right. It's just playing out in a similar manner. Okay, let's wait a little longer. I'll just hang out for now. Oh, well then I'm going on ahead, Kotori said with an aloof attitude and really started leaving. I couldn't do anything about that, so I gave a Geha a quick shout before chasing after Kotori. We could wait for her a little, couldn't we? So why didn't you? Are you really that against going with the Geha? I unintentionally asked in an anxious voice. It's not that I'm against it, but I feel kind of nervous. Or should I say awkward? I just can't put up with that atmosphere. I got the feeling that Kotori will always have trouble figuring out how to react around a Geha. You know, you're the very picture of an at-home elephant abroad a cat. Oh wait, oh yeah. I can't speak today. You know, you're the very picture of at home an elephant abroad a cat. Stop analyzing me. Yeah. She's putting up a front, but was actually shy. This was probably part of the reason why she didn't fit into the class after coming to this school. If you want to go together with her that much, then why didn't you do that? I can go by myself. There's an elevator. That's not what I'm saying. Stop crying. I'm not crying! Really? That's good. Ugh. Aoi-kun, you think I'm a crybaby, don't you? I don't. You're annoying. I made her mad. Kotori stopped moving her wheelchair. Was she tired? Want me to push you? Kotori shook her head. I really want to get along with her, but I don't know how. And she probably already hates me. Huh? Why do you think that? Because I said such awful things to her. Also, I always have a bad attitude. If she knows she has a bad attitude, why won't she just fix it? Hey, what do you think? She hates me, doesn't she? She wishes I just dropped dead, right? No, she doesn't. I declared this for starters. How can you be so sure? I've known her for a long time, so I know that much about her. Is that so? She's so distrustful. Kotori put her hand on her chin and started thinking. What should I do to get along with her? Well, for example... If she tells us to wait a moment before going to the club, then how about you actually wait for her? But she didn't say that to me. That's only because I called out to her. Should we go back to the classroom? No, it's fine. If I went back now, I'd be embarrassed. She really did sound embarrassed as she said this. She then moved her wheelchair forward. Sure, I was worried about the delicate situation between the two of them, but there's no need to rush. things like this take time. Friendship is something that grows slowly. If there's anything I can do to help, then I will. How are we gonna do the flight training? I asked Amane-senpai once all of the second years had gathered. Senpai had been tampering with a bundle of tangled PC cables for a while. We could only see the top of her head from the other side of the desk. By flying. Flying? I guess it won't be anything like doing weight training to build basic physical strength, but we still can't fly, can we? It's gonna be a simulator, I already know that. She can't be thinking of flying using those broken wings. Could you move that stuff lying alongside the wall out of the way? As requested, we tidied up things piled up against the garage wall. Whoa! There's a pile of stuff here! I don't even know what some of these things are! Many strange boxes and antique parts had been left here before Amane-senpai and us came to this garage. What the? Why is there a sword and spear in a place like this? There's an nunchaku over here! There's a broken toy gun, too. Of course, the sword and spear were just well-made replicas. And as for the other things, if I'd bought them, then after returning home I would think, why the hell did I just buy this? And would definitely regret the purchase. There are many things that looked like typical souvenirs from a field trip. I could easily tell that the members from long ago were using this garage as their own private place. Finished! Alright, now turn off the lights. When the lights were turned off, the inside of the garage became pitch black. Amane-senpai was operating some kind of machine. A screen was then projected on the wall where all that stuff was piled up before. It's a projector! It's like a cinema. Are we gonna watch an instructional video? Aoi-kun, come over here! I sat in the chair that Amane-senpai had prepared, and she gave me a computer game controller. What are we gonna do? Like I said, you're going to fly. This is a flying simulator. Flight simulator? I've heard of those, but I don't know exactly how they work. It's like a computer game. It lets you experience flight virtually. Even if you don't actually fly, you can learn the controls and get the feel of flying a glider to some extent. I don't quite get it, but it sounds pretty good. Is this a commercial one? No, I made it myself. It has the topography of Kazugara. It's a simulator specifically for our glider. With Amane-senpai's input, the image had changed. Kazugara, the town we're all familiar with, was being shown from the sky, projected onto the wall. It was shown in pretty CG on the level of RPG cutscenes on the latest consoles. She really is amazing, Ageha mumbled while looking at the projected screen. This was updated with the latest data yesterday. You should be able to get a very realistic sense of flying. Okay. The display of Amane-senpai's amazing work has raised my fighting spirit. Well then, let's begin. A glider model in CG appeared on the screen. Before you learn the controls, I'll explain how the glider moves. The glider movements can be explained as rotation on 3 axes: the longitudinal, lateral, and vertical. First is rolling. The longitudinal axis that ran along the length of the fuselage and the movement based on the rotation on that axis were displayed on the screen. This movement is called rolling. Next is pitching. This time, the lateral axis that went along the fuselage horizontally and the movement based on rotation on this axis was shown. This movement raises and lowers the nose and is known as pitching. Finally, there's yawing. And now the vertical axis that went through the center of the fuselage perpendicularly and the movement based on rotation along this axis were displayed. This movement that turns the nose left and right is yawing. These are the 3 basic movements of the glider. Do you understand? Yes, more or less. No matter how complex the maneuvers of the glider may seem, they're all combinations of these 3 movements. So it's enough for a pilot to know how to handle these 3 movements. I see. So the basics are quite simple? Kotori and Ageha were listening to that conversation and nodding along. With that in mind, let's try actually operating it. Amane-senpai chose a new mode. The screen changed again. The sky and the horizon were projected across the whole wall. Is this the view from the cockpit?
Yes, that's right. Wow, so this is what it looks like?
The glider was already in flight, but because I was used to video games, it felt incredibly slow. It didn't really feel like it was moving forward at all.
Except for takeoff, landing, and some other special cases, there are two things you need to control. The control stick and the rudder pedals.
I've seen the cockpit many times, so I knew about these. The control stick is the stick that comes out from the floor between the pilot's feet. I've seen movies with pilots flying fighter planes. They were holding control sticks. It had a button and pressing it launched missiles. Of course, the glider doesn't have anything like that. It's like the steering wheel of a car. There's a rudder pedal on both the left and right side that can be operated by stepping on them with your feet.
The controller emulates both of these. The right analog stick is the control stick. The L and R buttons are the rudder pedals.
I tried the analog stick and the L and R buttons on the gamepad. With a small delay, the field of vision on the screen abruptly moved.
Whoa! If you get careless, it'll stall and crash, so watch out. Okay. First is the control stick. This controls one of the two of the three movements that I explained just now, rolling and pitching. If you move it left and right, the fuselage will roll in that direction.
I leaned this control stick slowly to the left. The aircraft responded with a small delay. The horizon on the screen leaned to the right.
What makes the aircraft lean when you move the control stick? Good question. That's because the control stick controls the ailerons. Ailerons?
When Kotsuri heard that unfamiliar word, a question mark appeared above her head.
Ailerons are attached to the main wings. They're the outer rear edge. If you move the control stick left, then the left wing's aileron is raised and the right wing's aileron is lowered. When that happens, the lift is reduced on the left wing and increased on the right wing. The aircraft then banks, which is turning by leaning.
Turning by leaning, huh? It's similar to a bicycle. A bicycle has a handlebar. That doesn't mean you turn by moving it left and right. You turn by tilting the frame.
There's one more movement that can be made using the control stick, which is pitching. In short, pitching is moving the nose up or down. If you pull the control stick back, the nose goes up, and pushing it forward makes it go down.
I tried pushing the control stick forward. Whoa. The image moved and the amount of ground visible on the screen had increased. The aircraft pointed downwards, and I got the impression that I was flying faster.
When you point the nose down, the aircraft descends, but its speed also increases.
I see. I got the image of it slipping down on the air. This time I tried rolling the control stick back. The image moved, now displaying nothing but the sky. I couldn't see the horizon anymore. I felt like it was still flying, but I noticed the speed was decreasing.
How's this controlled? Also with those ailerons? No, it's different.
Oop.
We did experiments with the paper airplanes before, right? The thing that controls the up and down movements of the aircraft is...
When Kotsuri was playing around with the wings of the paper airplane, she made one do a beautiful loop-the-loop.
Oh, the horizontal tailplane!
Horizontal, my bad. Mane-senpai nodded with approbation.
Pitching, in other words the up and down movements, is controlled with the elevator that's attached to the horizontal stabilizer.
This time it was a familiar word. However, this was different than an elevator that goes up and down in buildings.
Generally speaking, raising the nose increases lift.
In other words, the aircraft will climb.
However, if you raise the nose too much, it will lose lift instead. The airflow won't be able to move along the wing's surface anymore, and the flow separation will occur. This phenomenon is known as stall. I don't think I need to explain what happens if you lose lift.
The glider can't fly without lift, so it'll inevitably fall from the sky.
Is there anything you can do if that happens? Yes, it's possible to recover. A stall can occur at any time, so it's necessary to get enough stall recovery practice.
Okay. Hearing about the possibility of falling from the sky made me tense up a bit. When you're flying through the air, even a trivial mistake can be fatal.
Shall we try falling once?
Huh? Amani pulled the analog stick back hard. The nose rapidly moved upwards, and then...
It's past the critical angle. It's stalling.
Suddenly, the gentle flight of the aircraft came to a halt. It instantly started hurtling towards the ground while the image was spinning like crazy. Game over.
Game over. Well, that's what it's like. In training, stalls and spins are caused on purpose to practice recoveries. Doing this for real in midair is scary as hell. You think you're gonna die.
If someone's afraid of heights, that really might be the case. Because the simulator was made really well, even the image alone had a powerful impact. Amane-senpai selected the mode and we started flying once again.
Next are the rudder pedals.
In the simulator, they were controlled with the L and R buttons.
Those operate the rudder, which is attached to the vertical stabilizer. If you step on the right pedal, the nose moves right. If you step on the other one, it moves left. This controls yawing. It turns the plane horizontally, but when you're turning, you're using the ailerons attached to the main wings, right? If you only use ailerons, the glider will still face forwards. It'll move slipping to the side it banks to. What does that mean? If it's still facing forward, wouldn't it mean that it'll fly ahead tilted?
Amane-senpai nodded.
By operating the rudder at the same time, you can rotate the nose towards the direction you want to turn.
Like the handlebars on a bicycle? While leaning on the bike, you turn the handlebars in that direction, otherwise you won't be able to turn well. Using a bicycle as an example, leaning the bike left to right is like the ailerons, and the handlebars like the rudder.
I see. When you want to turn, both the ailerons and the rudder are necessary. That's right. However, that alone still isn't enough. When turning, leaning the aircraft decreases the lift, so it'll drop down quite a bit. To keep as much altitude as possible when turning, you have to pull the control stick slightly backwards while moving it horizontally.
But when you're turning, you have to use all of these simultaneously? What to use and how seems quite intuitive.
And that's all. These are the only controls you need when flying.
After ending her explanation, Senpai turned on the lights.
It's pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
When I heard unfamiliar words like aileron and rudder, it sounded complicated. However, actually doing it was quite simple. Moving the control stick in all directions and stepping on the left and right pedals. That's all there was to it.
As long as you don't try any aerial acrobatics, there are almost no difficult controls. The ability to fly the wind is what you need to fly the glider.
Find the wind? Oh, excuse me.
Where and what kind of wind is blowing? Where the ascending air currents are. Finding those determines whether you can fly it well or not.
So you mean things like knowledge, experience, and intuition?
Something like that. To learn how to read the instruments, you first have to get used to them. Next, try practicing using this computer and the projected screen.
Got it. I sat down in front of the PC and started practicing immediately. Club activities had finished and we were on the way home. Ageha was fanning her chest with her sweaty uniform, and it happened to catch my eyes.
Oh, what are you looking at?
She sends my gaze and asks cheerfully, "Why don't you try acting a little more feminine?"
I can't help it. My chest is the sweatiest place. Isn't that feminine?
And she started fanning herself again, without a care in the world, as if she wanted to show me. Oh, 'cause she does, buddy.
The air conditioning in the garage is pretty weak, isn't it? My butt got really hot.
This time around, Kotori was wriggling her backside around. Oh, these two. It's spacious and the ceiling offers no heat insulation. It was like a prefabricated building. There was no attic and the heat from the sun transferred directly to the inside. Even if we turned on the air conditioning, its effectiveness was halved.
It's better than at the robotics club though. There are a lot of people there, so it gets really humid from the sweat.
Kotori made a disgusted face when she heard Ageha's description.
Alright, I'm going this way.
When we approached the usual crossroads, Ageha turned into a different street than us.
See ya!
Hey, Ageha. Wanna get some ice cream from the convenience store? Ugh, I can't talk.
Yeah, sure, but why all of a sudden?
You two were saying how hot it is, so I suddenly felt like eating some. You want to eat one too, Kotori?
Huh? Well, yeah.
Kotori answered while watching the geisha. Then let's go. I started walking ahead. In the convenience store parking lot, we bit into the ice cream that we bought. A geisha got watermelon flavored ice cream on a stick, Kotori got chocolate chip in a cup, and I chose vanilla ice cream wafers.
You prefer the ones in the cups, huh? Sold in the cups, huh, Bunny-san? Ice cream on a stick melts halfway through and it makes your hands sticky, so I don't like it.
Seems like everyone had their own preferences when it came to ice cream.
Hey, Aoi! How's that simulator?
I still didn't get the hang of it. It was pretty tricky.
Which part was difficult?
How should I call it? Inconvenient handling? When I want to do something, I can't do it right away. It'd probably be easier to handle if I could feel its movements and speed. God, I feel that. Oh my god, I feel that. Like, with because like, when I do driving sims, because I have like the wheel and everything, when I do that, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's so much more, I feel like I have so much more control over a car when I can actually feel the G-force, you know? Yeah.
The ailerons, rudder, and elevator don't work unless they catch some wind, right?
Exactly. Those control the position of the aircraft by transmitting the force of the wind to the fuselage. Naturally, when the wind is strong, small movements on the controls can have a big effect, and vice versa. However, the glider doesn't have an engine. You can't easily speed up or slow down. If you do one thing, it affects everything else. I guess that's what makes it difficult. It means that this vehicle requires quite a bit of experience after all.
Did it feel good to fly it?
Well, to be honest, the simulator didn't feel that good at all. You were watching the screen, right?
Yeah. How should I say this? It looked really frustrating. Compared to 3D shooting games, it was nowhere near as fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, flying it must be a complicated thing. Actually, flying it must be a completely different thing, though.
I think so. I can imagine that somehow. How it would really feel to soar through the sky on it. Only vaguely, though.
You're lucky. I want to try flying too. Why don't you give the simulator a try?
It was possible to control everything with your hands.
No thanks. Now is the time for you to do it, Aoi-kun.
She looks like she decided to be patient for now. Ageha and I exchanged glances spontaneously.
Well then, let's hurry up and build the wings so that we can actually fly it.
Yeah. As soon as I'll be able to fly myself, I could give Kotori a ride. I might be a little bit hasty, but having an objective will make me try harder.
I didn't win anything. Too bad.
Ageha tossed the stick of her finished ice cream into the trash can. I finished eating too, so I also get rid of the wrapper from my ice cream sandwich. Munch munch. Kotori was still eating. She was hurriedly shoveling her chocolate chip ice cream. It wasn't as bad as Amani-senpai, but her way of eating also slightly spoiled her pretty girl image. She rushed over in her wheelchair and threw the cup into the trash can. Did she think that if she didn't hurry, we would have left her behind? While I was away from Kotori, Ageha had come up beside me.
Thanks for being so considerate.
What do you mean?
Don't play dumb. You invited Habani-san and me here for our sakes, didn't you?
I wonder, did I really? Looking at me as I feigned ignorance, Ageha smiled cheerfully.
Sorry for the wait.
You didn't need to rush like that.
Okay, I'll be going. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see ya.
Goodbye.
We saw Ageha off as she waved goodbye. I pushed Kotori's wheelchair along the road back to the dormitory.
They're growing closer as friends.
I just think it's kind of cute that we push her in her wheelchair. I don't know, it's just a cute little thing.
What's this?
After school, we went to the garage and saw a huge pile of cardboard boxes and tin cans.
Yo guys!
What is all this?
Oh, it finally arrived!
Before Amane-senpai answered, Ageha, who came a little after us, saw all this stuff and her eyes lit up.
These are the materials for making the main wings. There's still some outside, so could you give me a hand with carrying them?
We brought the materials inside with a great deal of effort. Ageha compared them to the order summary.
Okay, everything's here. Alright. With this, we can finally build the wings.
Ageha was extremely enthusiastic.
What's this big thing here? It's huge but really light. It's styrofoam. We'll use it to make the model. The length of a single wing is about 8 meters. To make a model of something like this, we'll need quite a lot of it.
That means we'll also need large amounts of other materials.
Once they're complete, we'll be able to fly, right? Let's start making them right away.
Kotori was also in high spirits, but it's not like she knew how to make them. How do we build them? Can we do it here?
They're made from FRP, so I think we probably won't need any special equipment. The space shouldn't be a problem either. Isn't that right, Amane-senpai? Yeah, the current wings are made here as well.
But what is that? FRP. I wasn't familiar with that term.
It's strengthened plastic. The main wings are built from this material.
Strengthened plastic? I still didn't quite get what she was talking about. The broken wings were propped against the wall. They were smooth and hard. I thought they were made from aluminum or something.
Wouldn't the plastic crack though?
Kotori asked as she looked at the broken part.
That's not a problem. When they're properly made, that is. It's strange. I thought I did make them properly.
Amane-senpai stood beside Kotori and also gazed at the broken part, lost in thought.
FRP is really sturdy. It's made of plastic mixed with glass fibers, which increases its strength. It's based on it's based on the same concept as reinforced concrete.
Reinforced concrete?
You know, the concrete with reinforcing iron bars passing through it. Concrete is hard, but it's weak against pulling or bending forces. The iron bars inside it compensate for this weakness. FRP is similar. Plastic that is hard but inflexible is reinforced by mixing it with glass fiber.
I see. I said this for now. I'm not quite sure if I understood it or not, though. We'll probably learn the details in class sooner or later. It's this kind of school, after all.
Why is FRP used instead of iron or aluminum? It has several advantages, so when it comes to glider construction, it's probably the most suitable material. That's right. At present, gliders are made mainly from FRP. Of course, metal is strong, but making them from plastic reduces the weight. It's easy to process. It's easy to process and inexpensive. It can be easily maintained later and doesn't corrode.
Amane-senpai was nodding, agreeing with each point.
By the way, some unexpectedly familiar things are also made from FRP, you know?
Huh? What could those be?
The bumpers of cars, the hull of fishing boats apparently. And stuff like swan boats at the park and the Colonel guy standing at the storefront of KFC.
When she mentioned the Colonel, Kotori and I nodded in agreement. I've touched that statue many times when I was messing around with my friends from the cycling club and taking silly pictures next to it. I see. That's FRP, huh?
So you can build a glider from the same material as the Colonel?
I wasn't sure whether her murmur expressed delight of the glider feeling more familiar, or sadness over her dream being shattered a bit. How exactly do we make them?
Oh, yes. To explain it simply, first you have to make the mold of the wing, then cover it with the materials that make up FRP. We begin with this.
Ageha opened one of the just delivered boxes and pulled out some sort of cloth-like material.
First, we spread out this glass mat. This is the fiberglass that we're talking about earlier. Then we paint its top with resin. After we do that, add another layer of fiberglass is laid out, and we apply the resin again, and repeat that a few more times. After that, we wait for it to dry and take it off.
And it's complete?
No, not yet. It's finished once the surface has been polished and painted. Sounds easy. And that's because the explanation was very summarized. Actually, there are many more steps. When making something this big, there are places where normal methods don't apply. Well, let's take it one step at a time. Senpai, could you show me the plans?
While the Geha was looking at the plans, she started discussing something with Amane-senpai.
I see. It looks like we have no choice but to split it here and then join it later. But if we do that, we'll have problems with the weight. If it's too heavy...
The conversation moved on to things that we didn't understand.
Senpai, could you leave making the main wings to me?
Sure, I don't mind. You'll do it better than me, right?
Thank you, Abane-san. Oh, thank you, Abane-san.
Kotsu was surprised when she heard her name suddenly called out. I think it's high time she got used to it a little.
What is it? Abane-san, give me a hand, okay? Of course, that's why I'm here.
I'll help too.
Only when we need an extra pair of hands. The simulator should be your priority.
Kotsu gave me an uneasy glance. I'll leave it to you then.
Yeah, leave it to us.
With that, a Geha became the supervisor, and the construction of the main wings had begun.
Well then, give it a try. Do it just like I explained. First, we have to make the model from styrofoam. However, the polyester resin dissolves the styrofoam, so it needs to be coated before we start.
Until now, Kotsu had been taking a Geha's improvised FRP course. She's very diligent, so she noted down everything. She was now reviewing it as they proceeded with the work. For now, it was still just practice. They were trying to make something not related to the main wings.
We apply the polyester resin with a roller over the laid out glass mat. Ah, no. You have to paint it more firmly. I am. When you get to the corner, use a brush. Don't apply too much resin. I know that. Jeez, you're annoying. If you leave any bubbles, they'll create cavities. Those places will be weaker. And then the wings will break again.
Amane-senpai, who was standing beside me and teaching me about piloting, made a slightly hurt expression. Are you alright, senpai?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She answered, still with that hurt look. It seemed that she had a complex about her lack of dexterity. We were practicing on the flight simulator.
When turning, if you don't apply enough rudder, your timing is too slow, then it can slip. On the other hand, if you use too much rudder, your timing is too quick, then it can cause a skid.
Slip and skid are terms when the glider is moving diagonally. They occur when the nose isn't properly aligned while you're turning.
During both a slip and a skid, the glider's alignment towards the relative wind is shifted, and it'll lose lift.
Even if we assume, for example's sake, that there's no wind at all, the glider itself is moving through the air with a certain speed which causes the air to move around the rings. This is called relative wind. So, if the glider is moving diagonally, it's like it's receiving a diagonal wind. If the glider is most effective when it catches the wind from the front. The reduction in lift that Amane-senpai mentioned occurs because it doesn't get the wind directly from the front in this situation.
The lift decreases while turning even without slipping or skidding, so when they do occur, you will lose altitude considerably. Excuse me.
The Vice President, Komoya Akari, entered the garage.
Hi, Vice President. Hello, Mochizuki-senpai. Also...
Hello. Our eyes met, so I quickly bowed my head.
Hello, Minasi-kun.
Akari looked around the garage and nodded with satisfaction.
It looks like you're doing proper work. Yeah, this almost seems like club activities, don't you think?
She said this proudly. These actually are club activities, though.
Anyway, do you need something? I just came to see how things are going. It wasn't too great last time.
As you can see, we're doing very well.
Yes, I can tell just by looking.
She had a bit of a sharp tongue, but only when she was talking to me for some reason. Why does she hate me? The Vice President Komoya Akari-sama gave me a firm, scrutinizing look.
He certainly has a gentle face. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, but I shouldn't let my guard down.
Is something wrong?
No, nothing. Does she have a problem with me?
Not a problem, actually. Not a problem at all. Akari-san went over to the other two working at the back of the garage.
May I take a look at that? Oh, Akari-san, go ahead. How about this? Yes, that looks good. That's FRP, isn't it? What are you making? A dish. A dish? We're practicing. We want to build wings for the glider, but it would have been troublesome if we started making them right away and messed up. Now we have to wait for it to harden, then we'll polish and paint it.
Kotori was muttering while checking her notes.
Habani-san, once you finish using the roller and the brush, you should wash them immediately. When the resin hardens, you won't be able to use them anymore. Oh, really?
Kotori hurriedly went to wash them. That was quite a close call. She almost ruined some of the club equipment we had just bought.
Also, resin mixed with curing agent hardens easier at high temperatures. The container should be kept in shade and in a cool place if possible. Uh-huh.
Kotori unrefinedly wiped her wet hands on her skirt and made a note of Akari-san's advice.
Making the main wings will take a long time, so we have to think about such things too.
Ageha was also thinking about it with a serious expression. After confirming that the other two were doing proper club activities, Akari-san came back here looking relieved.
It seems like everything's going well. Yeah.
Amane-senpai answered proudly. She looked happy to be praised like that.
Anyway, there's actually one more thing I'd like to discuss. Have you chosen the vice president of the club? Vice president?
The other two stopped working at the opposite side of the garage and slowly turned their attention this way.
Yes. Mochizuki-senpai, while you are very talented, there's some situations you can't handle all by yourself, right? At times like this, having someone else around will be very helpful.
Apart from Amane-senpai, everyone's expressions showed understanding. It probably wasn't just Akari-san. Previous student council members also must have had trouble dealing with Amane-senpai. She was a very unique person. Sometimes she had ideas that differed from general social norms. The issue with the club status revoked the other day, and the fact that she kept repeating the year are prime examples of this. Vice President's suggested that having a so-called manager would also help a lot with negotiations and such. However, what she really has in mind is a mediator, right? From the few days we'd spent together, I could already tell that Amane-senpai probably wasn't fit for this role. The senpai will decide the very existence of the club, plan the activities and such. Bringing everyone together to carry everything out will be the Vice President's duty.
Yeah, I understand. I will choose someone. That's good to hear.
After she nodded with relief, Akari-san stole a glance at me again.
I wonder if she'll choose this Minase Aoi. According to Kanako, he's popular, proactive, not bad looking either. No, wait, what am I thinking?
Say, what was this just now?
Eh?
Well, you were sort of glancing at me, so...
I wasn't looking at you! You're too self-conscious, Minase-kun! I was just observing the Storm Club's activity, that's all.
I see. Sorry. She didn't just steal a few glances though, she was staring at me pretty hard.
Well, that's all for now.
Akari-san finished her business and hurriedly left.
Yeah!
But stumbled over a cardboard box on the way.
Jeez, what's this box doing here?
This time she left for good.
What was that? I wonder, maybe she has a thing for Aoi. Huh?
Oh. What are you all saying all of a sudden?
Wow, the vice president was looking at you the whole time. She was looking after all. Yes, she was.
No, that wasn't the case. Come on, get back to work. I drove them away with a vague answer and they returned to their work. Hey man.
Isn't he blushing a little? He is. Akari-san is beautiful after all.
I can hear you. Senpai, what are we gonna do about the issue brought up about the vice club president role?
What should we do? Is there anyone who wants to do it?
The other girls exchanged glances and then they turned their looks at me.
Me? Sort of. Sort of. This isn't something you can decide with, just sort of. Think it over more carefully, senpai. Okay, I get it. Like this, I concluded the topic I had brought up myself. With that out of the way, everyone keep your whispering to a minimum and concentrate on your work. You're acting like the club president already. He's surprisingly eager. I think that Aoi-kun will be a good choice. Everyone got back to their work while mumbling to themselves. The trials and tribulations. It's about time to go home. I would have liked to stay and work a bit longer, though. The sooner we complete this, the sooner we'll be able to fly. Kotori muttered a complaint to herself. We were supposed to leave school by 6:30. There was a rule that you had to submit a notice of club activities extension in order to stay longer. However, I had my dorm other work to do, and Kotori was also helping with dinner preparations. We had to leave at the normal time anyway. Tomorrow we're gonna finish up the test dish, and then we can move on to making the model of the main wings. Finally, we'll start the real thing. It'd be troublesome if we rushed things and ended up breaking again, so let's work on it with all due care. Yeah. Excuse me. At noon, things were still pretty awkward between them, but it seems that after half a day had passed, they'd opened up to each other. By the way, Aoi-kun, what do you think of Akagi-san? Huh? That's right! I thought that we should press you for answers once the club activities had finished. What's this all about? There's nothing to question me about. Come on, tell us already! Yeah, tell us! These two... Let's dash back home. Everyone at the dorm is waiting on empty stomachs. I started running, pushing Kotori's wheelchair. Wait! Why are you dodging the question? Apparently, those two getting along too well will also be a problem. Alright. I think that's a pretty good place to stop it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop right there. Title, there we go. Okay! So, Kotori and Ageha have gotten a lot closer now. So they've we've finally gotten past their little spat that they had and the awkwardness between them. And we're really rolling now, obviously, because we're finally about to start actual construction on the main wings. So I guess my assumption at least is going to be that when we do go flying, we probably are going to happen to fly at the time that this cloud wall is present, because they mentioned that it was this like rare anomaly, but I'm going to assume that we're going to be able to see actually see that in person. Additionally, we still have to figure out who this Isaka person is, because they were brought up pretty prevalently. I don't even know if that's a word. In the last episode, so we still have to figure out who they are. Obviously, they're a member of the old club, but we don't know exactly why they're so special to Amane, and we also don't really know what is driving Amane to purposefully repeat all these years. And honestly, more than anything, I'm curious as to how old this woman is. So, yeah, hopefully those answers and more will be given to us in the next episode. But without further ado, that's going to be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it and let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it for me, and I'll see you in the next one.